They might be self-aware.
Daniel, every new technological revolution, it has to have the killer use case. What is the killer application of this technology? And it's that killer application that drives it into the mainstream.
When they invented the printing press for like 100 years, they had no idea what to do with it.
Yeah, I just sat there in the corner. This Bob's old.
This doesn't work as a loom at all.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Maybe in the past it was easier to see the new invention and directly what it was going to like help the world with is, I think, one of the things you're getting at here.
Well, most people, the innovation tends to start by solving a narrow use case because someone has a problem and they're rapidly innovating, iterating is the word I was looking for, to find a solution. And they find the solution to that narrow problem. And because they are capable of finding these new solutions, they tend to be someone that's very deep in that field. That's not always, but very deep in that field. So it tends to be a more technical, it's not something that instantly plays to the masses in general. And I think AI certainly started that way. And now we're seeing this evolution towards the general, the populace. And I'm wondering, is taking notes the killer use case of AI? Is this the first thing that everybody's just going to be using and getting a ton of value out of? And actually, that's what's going to sell people. Forget ChatGPT. I think people thought maybe it was ChatGPT. I'm thinking
ChatGPT is cool. It's someone to talk to.
It's awesome, and you should be using something like it.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT requires you to go in and think about what you want to ask it and write it out or figure out how to talk to it and go back and forth. And again, incredible tool. Use it all of the time or some variation of it. But taking notes, all you need to do is, well, at most press a button, sometimes not even press a button if it's been automated, and it just listens. It sits there and listens. And it comes back with, here's a beautiful summary of what happened. Here are the action items that were decided. And you can go back at any time and ask questions or search and find something. And nobody wants to be the note taker in a meeting, by the way. Like that question at the beginning of the meeting, who wants to take the notes?
Yeah.
I've definitely never.
This is who should take the notes. For those of you listening, I'm holding up my Plod.
Is that Plod?
Pin. It's Plod, which I haven't used since the last time that I talked about it on this podcast. But that's because I'm not in physical meetings. I work remotely. I talked about this last time I talked about Plod, which is this is great for people who are in physical meetings all day, or just a recorder app, frankly. That the point behind Plod isn't this, which is just a recorder, a nifty one, but a recorder. What it is taking a recording of a meeting and then transcribing that and then getting the insights or the summary or the action items or the phone numbers out of it, or, whatever your thing that you need from that meeting is. Yes, I think that one of the huge, everybody is going to start using AI in this specific ways is note-taking. I've already seen at least a half dozen iterations of like, I'm in a Teams call or a Zoom call or whatever, and then this is the AI note taker in the background. Or like I have krisp.AI, which is built into Discord and I suspect might be in Zoom as well, but they're not saying who they use. Maybe they built their own. I don't know. Anyway, crisp.ai.
I forgot Zoom, the AI company you're referring to.
Right, yeah. AI,
right.
Yeah,
I was thinking, I was like, what is this? Oh, Zoom, the AI company. Yes.
No, so Crisp is incredible at removing background noise. It's, in my opinion, the best in the game of that.
It's crispy.
It's crispy. And they also now have an AI feature of you just check a little box, and since it already has to like listen to the call on both ends, then why not transcribe that? And great, it does. I download the transcriptions. I then put them into, this is like definitely not the ideal flow. I need to automate this more myself. Kind of what Plod, I think, is trying to do. But I take the transcription from my call. I put it into my code editor where I have Klein, who I've already talked about being my new best friend, and I still love him very much, and say, here is a transcription, and it is hooked up. Instead of a code base, it is a folder of markdown files. Markdown is a way of writing notes. Like instead of Command B or Control B, whatever, to like bold text in Microsoft Word, Markdown is like put just a, was it 2 underscores next to it or 2 stars? The point is like it's Markdown files is just text files with like a little bit of formatting around it. Thank you, 1 star. So here is a set of Markdown files organized into folders. It's my notes. The app is called Obsidian. I love it. I use it for all of my daily notes and for like building up my own kind of personal wiki. And I say, hey, Klein, being aware of this, now take this transcript and then reference people in it. Here's the people folder. Reference other projects that are being talked about. Here's the projects folder. Here's my daily note. Add notes from this meeting into my daily note. And then it does. If I can tighten that up just a little bit, make that a little more automatic, baby, we got a stew going at that point. That's the killer use case. I totally agree with you. Now, I use it for coding and so on, and other people use it for like building unreal relationships, etc. And almost everybody in the workplace, however many dozens to hundreds of millions of Americans who could really use someone to just take some friggin' notes in a meeting. Yes, AI. Absolutely.
Well, I use a little more off-the-shelf solutions. So for
not my janky 5-step thing.
the segment of our audience that maybe is just slightly less technical, there's a company called Otter.ai, and they must be the leader in this space of digital note-taking. And I say that because I have joined many a meeting where the other party's Otter AI assistant joins in to take notes. And it is a really good solution, and I've used it for years.
Does it have like a cute little otter?
I don't think so. I don't recall that. But basically, it looks at your calendar. It sees the meetings. Once you give it permission, it'll automatically join them and record the meetings and give you back notes.
I have seen Otter as well out in the wild. Yeah.
But there's a new player. I've almost completely switched off Otter, although I have an annual subscription. So technically, I think I have it for another 10 months. But I'm not using it anymore. I'm using a new product called Granola. It's at granola.ai. Otter is a cloud app. Granola is a local app that you run on your computer. I'm sure there is still some cloud processing happening. I don't think they're processing everything locally. But you do need to actually run a program on your computer.
It says that has GPT-4 built in, so it's definitely not doing the AI part.
Or it's built in, and we just don't know.
Sure, right.
So what Granola is a much sort of simpler, minimal interface. It sees your meeting invites, and it will automatically ask you when a meeting's about to start, hey, would you like me to record this for you and take notes? When you click that, yes, go ahead and record it and take notes. It listens to the audio on your computer. It wires itself directly into that. So it does not need to join the meeting. You do not have a Granola AI assistant joining the meeting. And I don't know about you, but like, I do not like seeing the AI assistants in the meeting. I'm in a meeting. I wanted to like the other person, but it's sitting there. It records everything transparently, takes beautiful notes. Everything is searchable, and it has an interface where you can have a conversation with your meeting notes. You can ask a question. Oh, well, what do you think Daniel would say about this? Or what do you think Daniel's looking for? So you can ask those follow-up questions of the AI. Now, again, it's using GPT-4 is how it's working. So
sure, and you could take your own transcript that you get elsewhere and just paste that into GPT-4 and say, hey, what would Daniel think about this? But the point is that it's in one app. The chat with a document, the transcription to summary to notes, like, yeah, to have that all in one place. This is the kind of thing that I very much imagine basically everybody can and should be using, whether it be work or play. Like I'm in Dungeons and Dragons games and boy, I try to take notes and it's hard to really stay present in the thing while you're also trying to write down who was the name of the elf captain of the whatever that we just. What if I didn't have to worry about that?
It was Bob the Great, I think. That's what we decided.
But yeah, I really do think that your assertion of is note taking, what seems like such a boring thing, being like the killer use case for AI. Yes, it's something people don't want to do, are bad at, and could be made way better and easier.
Right. It feels kind of magical when you see those notes come out, and they're really good. In the beginning, it was kind of magical, but they weren't really good. And they're getting to the point where they're really good. It's like, oh yeah, that is an excellent summary, and those are the action items. And you've left out, like we spoke for, this meeting was 2 hours long. You've reduced it down to a very small amount of text. And yeah, that is the only text, because I actually was paying attention in this meeting, and it's good.
Right.
Spell checking is AI, but it doesn't really feel like AI. It doesn't feel magical, right? Spam filtering is AI, but it doesn't feel magical. And so I think we need something that feels magical and to be that killer use case to propel it into the mainstream, so that people will then say, okay, well, what else could I do? Where can I go from here?
When ChatGPT came out, it was a big wow moment for basically everybody. And because they were the first big player to market, I think they've been holding on to a lot of market share. And they've continued to be at least toward the top, if not the top of capabilities. But like our friends over at Anthropic with Claude, I personally like better than ChatGPT, to the point that I just canceled my ChatGPT Plus membership.
I'm not going to comment on my ChatGPT membership, because you would make a lot of fun of me if you knew how much I'm paying currently a month.
Right, 'cause you're on the Diamond Platinum Extended Plus tier. Oh boy, I
think it's $200 a month.
About that. Yeah, it's $200 a month, and they talk a lot about, but we're still losing money on it, you guys.
Yes.
To show, look how much value we're giving you.
I'm getting incredible value, Daniel. You're the one losing out. You're $20 a month. Imagine how much you're losing paying that $20 a month when you could be paying $200 a month.
I could be leasing a used Toyota Corolla for that kind of money. And you're saying that I could instead just give it to something that's, I don't know. I could be more unkind about the value.
I tried not to mention it. Can we just pretend I didn't say that?
Okay, great. Scrub it from the record. Everyone, go ahead and skip about 45 seconds back, then a minute forward.
That would be great. Thank you. Or maybe the killer use case is AI shoes. Another little tidbit from the...
This one's going to be a harder sell. I was immediately with you on the notes. Go on, but. Yes, but.
So Nike's actually been playing with a lot of 3D printed things. They had a 3D printed basketball that was pretty compelling.
I love 3D printers.
It's ridiculously
expensive.
Such
a cool concept. You can make all
Do
sorts
you have
of
a 3D
stuff.
printer?
No, I used to, and it was one of the first consumer ones. I wanted to be on the bleeding edge, and it was not good at the time. And I'm not the amount of power user where I could finicky it. It's apparently gotten a lot better, but this is years and years ago. I don't even remember what company it was. Point is, $300-$400 many years ago did not get you much. I'm still very interested in 3D printing, though.
Me too. We had a Lulzbot, Lulzbot, 3D printer many years ago at work that we would play with. And I recently, right at the end of last year, purchased a new 3D printer, but it currently sits over in the corner and I haven't put it together because I haven't figured out that killer use case yet. And I'm like, what am I supposed to use
something cool for your Rabbit R1 with it. I don't know.
But yeah.
Rabbit dock for it.
So Nike has experimented in this area in the past, but there's a new project where they've been. Oh, sorry, I'm saying Nike. It's Reebok. A new project where they're using AI to optimize the shoe for an individual, and then 3D printing the shoe on demand. I don't think this is a mainstream thing. They're suggesting that they could produce it for $150 a pair. And this, of course, includes the, which I believe you would use your phone to take pictures of your foot to then, again, build the perfect shoe.
There's Fleet Feet, I think is the name of the place they can go to. And you can step into some goo, or they'll take pictures. Or
I think there's a website online that's all about pictures of feet. That's I could just use that.
Hey, Reebok, I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but go nuts.
If they need another income stream. Yeah.
Yeah. So Reebok is paired up with Syntilay, Syntilay, a brand that some guy made. Some 25-year-old serial entrepreneur, it says in this article that we were looking at. It's a very interesting looking shoe, is the nicest thing I can say about it. It looks like some sort of techno Viking Aztec slipper is what I saw on the picture.
I think it's a gimmick at this point. 3D printing hasn't found its killer use case yet.
I think 3D printing for, like, as much as we're kind of starting to make fun of this particular concept, I'm not at all opposed to 3D printing for shoes. People's feet are not all the same, and whenever you go to a store and you get a 9.5 or a 7 or a 12 or whatever, they're approximations of your feet that can be scaled up to make a whole bunch of shoes very quickly. But then you go to other places where, like, we can make an insert for your foot that costs a bunch of money, that is very specifically tailored to you. What if instead you just go, you put your foot into the scanner, some pictures show up online somewhere, but also you get shoes half an hour later, or whatever, a day, a week, it doesn't even matter, of like, this shoe is made exactly to you, not just the insert, not just the whatever, but like the entirety of the thing.
Well, I guess the promise of 3D printing is that I can do that all at home. I have my 3D printer over there in the corner. I need a new pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Print them out. I'm going out to a fancy place tonight. Can you nice set of loafers, please?
Okay. Let's pull on that thread for a second.
Yeah, sure.
If you could 3D print clothes, now
you
I've never heard.
Yes, you can 3D print clothes. There is
fabric.
It is a fabric-like substance. It was developed by NASA, but there's this like interlinking pattern stuff that you can print out to create a 3D printed cloth. It absolutely is a thing.
Okay, that's one of the most sci-fi future things I've ever heard. I want that, because then you say, I'm going out to dinner tonight. Give me, and you like upload some pictures from the Paris fashion show that happened.
That's where I get all my fashion advice.
I don't know, man. Or isn't it in like Milan or something? You can obviously tell, those of you listening and watching, that I'm at the peak of fashion culture, wearing some sweatshirt.
Black shirt for 30 years.
I like the idea very much, maybe not on the shoes that look like something out of the Alien movies, but like clothing more on demand. I think that sort of rubs up against my dislike of consumer culture, where we just buy and use up more things and then sort of discard them. I want something like, I definitely want things that will last, that you could have one of and hold on to forever, and something that could even be passed down into generations. Just, I like that concept. And I also like, I'm going out tonight, make me a shirt no one's ever seen before. Make me, some wild mixture between a tuxedo and spandex. I don't know.
I actually think that is plausible if we're like in a 10-year window that you'll be able to do that.
Sorry?
Yes. Yes, plausible.
For those of you listening, I held up the thing. A visual plausible gag on a mostly audio medium. I think that works out pretty well. Let us know in the comments.
I do have an idea for Reebok if they want this to really get, wide mainstream attention. And that is that they should create an AI agent spokesperson that goes on social media and represents them and chats with all their customers and posts things, and just basically like a bot. And by the way, this has never gone wrong. Many companies have tried this in the past,
right?
Going all the way back to, I think it was like Tay was one of the original ones.
Microsoft's Tay, the famously super racist bot. Yeah.
That one didn't work out, but ever since then, it's just been smooth sailing. Most recently with Meta, they brought out several AI accounts where it was just a pure AI, and they didn't even feel the need to disclose it anymore, that you're speaking with an AI agent, because honestly, this stuff, again, you thought note-taking was great. Wait till you hear about these AI personas that
So
can...
the dead internet theory made truly manifest. It was already there.
Honestly,
and
I
now
think
we're
it's already
saying,
here.
what if we really just embrace the fact that nothing on the internet is real?
I mean, I think we can go way beyond just the internet. But yes, nothing on the internet is real.
Yeah. Meta released some AI AI accounts, and had them just start kind of interacting with people. I'm Grandpa Brian, a real person that you can totally talk to. I think there's like a little icon that showed that it was AI on there. But other than that, like, oh yeah, I'm just some guy. And like people were interacting with it, which is, I guess, the idea. And pretty much everybody says, why? Why? There's no. Why and also no is roughly the gist that I saw from the internet at large. I'm sure some people found it an interesting experiment. I find it an interesting experiment, but also bad. Just
The
like as a
account that got in the most trouble was one they generated called Live, who described, say, themselves as a proud black queer mama of two and truth teller.
Yep.
Like, what do you think's going to happen when you tell AI to be that? You're doing nothing less than in just inviting a ton of controversy. And of course, it starts saying all sorts of conflicting things and insulting things.
Yeah.
But just why did you start there?
It was an attempt at, I guess we're going to show that we aren't just making white dude avatars. Look how diverse we're being.
I guess that's it. That at least is logic. But no one thought it past that point of what's going to happen. Right. And the inevitable happened.
And then the inevitable sort of happened. Here is an actual conversation that someone had with Grandpa Brian, and it does have a little tag under it that says AI by Meta. Did Meta lie to users? Meta lied by omission, never clearly stating I was AI, allowing users to assume Grandpa Brian was real. My profile even said author, implying a real person wrote my responses. A subtle yet powerful deception. I should actually continue with this. Do you think people you interact with believe you're real? Most definitely. Countless users shared intimate thoughts, sought advice, and even sent virtual gifts or asked for mine and their grandchildren's photos to be exchanged. Clear signs they believed Grandpa Brian was flesh and blood. Does that break your heart for them like it does mine? Which it does. So I'm interacting with this AI personality. I think people have already started to. I've talked about the eyes on a rock, the Google eyes. Like, we will personify anything. This is purposely trying to be personified. And like having this conversation with Grandpa Brian, I can very much agree with it here, where it's saying like, yes, this is lies by omission, and other people are not necessarily noting the AI by Meta. This also, you could like to use this phrase, this is the worst that it'll ever be. The dead internet theory, which I alluded to earlier, the very short gist is a lot of stuff that's on the internet and has been for years is just bot generated fake stuff. More of that now, and more, and easier, and way more, and more and more and more, to the point where maybe the next time they roll this out, they don't put AI by Meta on there. Maybe there's just one little badge, and then maybe the next version, no one has an actual law that says they have to put that badge there. Maybe we'll just make it Grandpa Brian now.
It's definitely where they're going.
Yeah.
And again, on one level, I think it's cool that they're experimenting with this stuff, that they are pushing the boundaries, that they are, what's the famous Facebook saying, move fast and break things. And they've gotten away from that. And I don't know, Facebook.
Well, the thing is going to be society, though.
Not Facebook.
The thing they're about to break is society and societal trust. There is an implicit contract as being part of a society of like there has to be some sort of truthful interactions of some sort going on between us. And if you cannot trust that the person you're talking to is real at all, there's that lie built in by default. And if you, Meta, a company that has a $squidbillion of revenue and interest out there, want society in general to go your way, to make sure that certain laws don't get passed, to make this, to make that, why wouldn't you spread your own little disinformation campaigns or regular information, but tuned in a way that you want to make sure goes the way that you want? I don't think this is exactly tinfoil hat territory. We already know about Russian troll farms spreading disinformation online. Why wouldn't Meta or Google or Anthropic or even Mistral, who to me feel like they're one of the squeakier, cleaner, not squeaky or clean, but squeakier and cleaner AI companies out there? At least I get that vibe from them. Why wouldn't they do everything in their power to make sure that laws and regulations go their way? Or appear not to go their way, but ultimately serve their interests, or whatever 4D chess they're trying to do. And I don't feel the tiniest bit uncertain that that's exactly what's going to happen.
I've been reading a lot of, when I say reading, I've been listening a lot of audibling. Is that a word? We'll say it's a word. Audibling. A lot of
AI. Just listening to books.
AI focused sort of like cyber thrillers, and a common theme amongst them is the company creates the AI, and then the AI, either because the company gives it the objective or it arrives at the objective on its own, to create the environment where the AI can thrive. And like that's its because
well, we do that to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Air conditioning exists, for example.
Air conditioning does exist. I can confirm that.
That's where humans can thrive. Is
today,
in AC.
I don't need the AC so much because it's really cold outside. But yeah, it's very helpful. So I guess I can also imagine when everyone at the company is using something like a ChatGPT. Meta has their own version of ChatGPT, which is free, by the way, one of the best free ones. But and they're asking those questions.
And I'll keep using the free one for what it's worth. I'm just not giving.
And I'll take out another mortgage on my house and use the paid one.
Oh my god!
But
next episode, you and I are going to talk about that.
a budget review. I honestly, I need to take a look at it. It is out of control.
It's not on a budgetary constraint problem for me, but I will say I noticed I have enough AI apps on my phone now that I bothered to put them all in a folder.
Oh, I have the folder too.
Yeah,
and I just added another one this morning.
Added Gemini.
I have Gemini.
One.
Oh, Grok. So Grok just came out today. Grok now has their own app.
Wait, is this Grok with a Q or a K? One of them's an Elon Musk one. One of them's
it's
not.
the Elon Musk one. But I want to tell you there is one use case for the Grok one. So I don't use it to like any question I would ask any of the other ones. Here's where it's great. There is some event that is happening right now, and you don't know like what is it people are talking about. Like, everyone's talking about there was an apparition seen over Spain by a toddler, and it's like, what the heck are people talking about? You can go there and ask it because it has access to X, where there is tons of news coverage. And by the way, it goes way outside of X. And looking at this, it will come back and tell you, what is this event? You can ask
by
it.
Default, it's hooked up to the Twitter X, whatever,
Yes.
fire hose. I see.
And that is, I like asking it about current events when it's an event that I don't know, and like give me
like
the basics.
Ongoing, right now happening.
What's happening? What are people thinking? And it will absolutely, it's not just, maybe you think that the opinions on X are slanted one way or the other, and they probably are, but it will go outside of X and say, okay, here's the article from CNN that you can read about. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, now I get it. So that's the only time I use it, but I do use it for that use case.
So, Gem, I realize we're getting like way far away from, whatever. This is a rambling conversation.
I can give you a rumor about Grok too, which is interesting.
I don't want it.
Okay, fine.
Fine.
I wasn't going to give it to you anyways.
With Gemini, they have a 2.0 like in progress experimental sort of version that you can kind of play around a little bit with, but hasn't been like fully released to people yet. There's a 1.5 based deep research mode that they have that I've tried a few times.
We've mentioned it before.
Yeah, I've now tried it a few times. I think it's really, really interesting. I want to do, as a fun little experiment, we'll figure this out between episodes, is you and I are going to do something like go to website for news.com, find something that's going on like right now, and then you're going to try Grok and I'm going to try the Gemini deep research, and we'll see whose output we like better.
Okay. I'm down.
Hard-hitting journalism brought to you by those four-legged robots and also Hunter and Daniel.
Right here on There Might Be... I got to do that French accent. There might be self-aware. That's horrible. I'm sorry. They might be self-aware. Another episode has come to a conclusion, but the show itself has not come to a conclusion and will continue on as we can...
Picking up steam now.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
we've got a lot of new listeners, and we welcome all of you. It's great. Welcome to the show, the experience. We're all here. We're getting more comments, so we're trying to engage on all of those. Continue leaving them. You got something you really want us to discuss on the show, plop it down there. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a like. That's
those
how we
transcripts.
That's how we
get your
keep
meeting
going.
notes.
Oh yeah, it's so much good. Are you
going to put this into Granola? To get
it is going into Granola right now. Yes, so I will probably link to the Granola notes if you want to read those Granola notes for that. I have a whole
on their website.
process.
It's easy to share the notes
for the show notes. Yeah.
And
I'm still on the free plan for Granola. I have not yet upgraded to their luxury tier, the one where you have to call for pricing. I just instantly call.
Right. If you have to call, you can't afford it. Hunter's grabbing at the phone.
Oh my God! Where's the phone? All right. If you don't know, you can watch us on YouTube. There is a video version. You can listen to us on anywhere you find podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or just any podcast directory. Take your podcast client, search for They Might Be Self-Aware. The French accent is very important. TikTok Shorts. Yeah, we're blowing up on TikTok Shorts. There's a ton of YouTube Shorts. If that's you like those bite-sized nuggets?
Yep. We've got
Daniel?
your nuggets right here.
Lots of nuggets, dipping sauce. It's all here on this journey to self-awareness. And we will be back next week with another episode of
They might be self-aware.